Let's talk about some fun young hitters up next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Thursday, August 18th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White. And let's start off with Brett Baty. Are you kidding me? He hits a home run in his first at-bat. In fact, the second pitch that he sees in Major League Baseball, smacks a home run. But even more impressive, Scott, later on in that game, he's facing a left-handed pitcher as a left-handed batter, and he squares up a 113-mile-per-hour ground ball, which, it's not...
It was an out, yeah.
It's an out, but the fact that he hit a ball that hard as a lefty on lefty, it's really, really intriguing. So, what do you think about Baty? Is he, I think I asked you this yesterday, but is he even more of a must-add now?
Yeah, I mean, pretty close. It was an impressive debut, and, you don't want to make too much of one batted ball. And it's funny that the batted ball we're making a lot of isn't even the home run. It was an out. But to put that into context, him hitting it 113 miles per hour. So this comes from Anthony DiComo, who writes for the Mets for MLB.com. That 113 mile per hour batted ball was the hardest any Mets left-handed hitter has hit the ball since 2020. And the hardest any Mets left-handed hitter has hit a ball off a lefty in 6 years. And where did you say it puts him in the percentile just for this year? All hitters across baseball, Brett Baty with that 113 mile per hour batted ball is now in the
90th percentile max EV.
Yeah. So that, like, max you want to know what a guy's power potential is? Max EV is I think the clearest measurement of it. How hard is he capable of impacting the ball? Obviously you want him to impact the ball that way a lot, but just period, how hard is he capable of impacting the ball? And Brett Baty's already made an impression in his first major league game and should get plenty of playing time at third base, especially if they're going to leave him in the lineup against lefties.
On the other side of that game, Vaughn Grissom, we've talked about him a ton recently. He's 73% rostered. He could be out there in some shallower leagues. I just think that number, Scott, needs to be closer to 100%. Some questions about playing time, over the next couple of weeks, but I think they will figure that out because he is just performing. He went 2 for 4, picked up his second stolen base. He now has multiple hits in 5 of his first 8 games. Vaughn Grissom has looked every bit the part, Scott. Would you be willing to drop someone like Jeremy Pena to add Vaughn Grissom?
Oh, Jeremy Pena has been terrible since he came off the IL in late June. Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy call. His on-base percentage for the year is below 300. I have a really good feeling about Vaughn Grissom because, a lot of times when a hitter comes up and makes a big splash right away, there's usually some flaw you can point to. Like I remember Christopher Rell for the Cubs. It's like, okay, but he struck out 30% of the time in the minors, and eventually that's going to catch up to him, and it appears to have done that. In Grissom's case, like making contact was the thing he did best in the minors. He had like a 12% strikeout rate down there this year. It's nearly as good last year. And, a lot of times that profile, they get to the majors and okay, they're able to make contact, but they just don't impact the ball hard enough. That hasn't been the issue for Grissom. So, and then he contributes stolen bases on top of everything else, the most coveted stat. Dual eligibility now, picking up second base to go with shortstop. So yeah, I'm pretty high on him at this point. You do wonder, Ozzie Albies might be 7 to 10 days from returning. Do they stick Grissom in the outfield where he hasn't played before? I think he'd be capable, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the Braves' plans are.
Yeah, I don't want to overvalue just 8 games played so far, but if Grissom does stick, I can see him being a league winner this season, just based on what he has flashed so far. A few waiver wire pitchers from Wednesday's action. Nick Lodolo threw 7 shutout innings against the Phillies with 8 strikeouts in that one. I noticed he threw his curveball a season-high 34%, and it's far and away his best pitch, so I do like that pitch mix change for Nick Lodolo. And then Ross Stripling, in his return to the Blue Jays, took a no-hitter into the 7th inning against the Orioles. He went 6 1/3 shutout, gave up 1 hit, 7 strikeouts in that one. Scott, let's just rank a bunch of the pitchers from the past couple of days. Ross Stripling, Nick Lodolo, Aaron Civale, Justin Steele. Go.
Okay, I'm going Lodolo first for the upside. I think he's flashed plenty of upside. Got in trouble the previous 2 starts with 4 walks. Consistency could be an issue, but if he can find it down the stretch, he could be a really impactful player. I'm not sure any of these others can be that impactful. Justin Steele would be the number 2 choice. Of course, he's on a nice run lately. Stripling's ERA and WHIP are good for the year, and so he would be my 3rd choice. But obviously this was his first start back from the IL. Even so, before he went on the IL, while maintaining that low ERA, he had a stretch of 6 starts where only one of them was as much as 6 innings. And, he gets a lot of like 4 2/3 innings starts. So just not enough volume from Stripling. And then Civale would be the last choice. Good sign him throwing his curveball more last time, but it was against the Tigers. And, he has a lot of trust to regain at this point in fantasy.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.